All right. Shalom, family. Mm. Uh, how y'all doing? Mm. These are those moments. Uh, they got to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, let's do that. Mm. All right. Oh man, how's everybody's doing? Shalom to everybody in the chat. Shalom to everybody in the house. I'm your brother Daweed coming back with another quick conversation from the Go Lightly perspective. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to this quick conversation. Um, I've been thinking about some things, and I thought that it would be cool to share. I know that this is an off time for me. I normally don't share this time of day, but I had a few moments, and I said, maybe I should just tap in and get some good feedback as well as share some of my thoughts in regards to the desires of our heart. Man, it is so important that as we're looking at where we are in society, where we are prophetically in time, where we are socially, where we are relationally, where we are in our family, where we are financially, spiritually, these different elements of our life, we need to make sure that where we are is purposeful, is part of the strategy and the overall outlook of our life that has been architected from the Most High, that can be cross referenced with some type of drive and desire, dream, vision that He's giving you. And then, you have a second and third level of confirmation with that of your fathers and with that of your elders or someone that you submit to, right? Because, man, this world will give you so many desires. I wanted to anchor this conversation in Psalms 37, where it says, I'll just read it. Of course, we can recite it, but Psalms 37 and 4, it says, delight yourself in Yah, delight yourself in Yahuwah, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So, first off, when you think about what am I desiring? See, this society will try to, this culture will try to get you to desire a litany of things that may not be rooted in the truth of what the Father would have us do. You could be desiring things that are totally counterproductive and that are destructive for you. It's cool to desire family, but do you know what it takes to have family? And that's usually, what I talk about is family. I love family. I arrange my family the way that Abraham arranged his family. I arranged them the way that, Jacob, Isaac and Jacob arranged their family, because I was inspired by my father, who is William. I was inspired by him, who was inspired by his father, Daniel, and by his father, Freeman, and his father, George. I thank the Father for these great men and for my matriarch that has helped me find applicable, functional examples of family so that the desires of my heart are tethered, are rooted to something. So when you have these desires, you got to ask yourself, where did it come from? Who gave me that? Who originated that thought? Who told me I have to subscribe to one family structure versus a different family structure? People get upset and get triggered when you talk about patriarchy. They get upset about that. But then you ask them, well, okay, are you advocating for a matriarchy? Well, yeah, okay, well, show me a society where it was a matriarchal society that had dominion, that was a functional example of what needed to be done. And they were able to exert their influence on other cultures. I don't mean by dominating. I'm not talking about exerting your power over them, but the influence of that culture was so dominant that it began to influence other cultures, and they began to reproduce said thing, and they enter into geopolitical. They had geopolitical ties, connections, and they set up their kingdom, their way of life, and it was functional. It was beneficial, and everyone was happy. It was a beautiful matriarchal society. And then don't start talking to me about Amazons and these mythical groups. I want to hear that. See, we have this idea in our mind, these desires that may be rooted just in fallacy, rooted in our own imagination. So we have to examine these things. And these are things that I said before, but that desire, you got men that desire a wife. I want to have a wife. Mm. Delight yourself in Yah, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. Okay, okay, okay. But what does it mean for me? Are there any steps as a young man, as an older man, that I have to, or boxes that I need to check? What is the approach that our fathers had when it came to acquiring a wife? Was it that my father gave me a wife? Check, we can do that. Did some men go out and get their own wives? Check, they can do that. Were wives given to men as a result of um, for geopolitical ties to merge families? This king gave this king a daughter. We know Shaul gave Dawid a daughter. He brought those 200 foreskins back, to get Micah, to get Shaul, to get Saul's daughter, to merge him into the royal family. Daughters can be used to merge families, to sync them together, to connect them, because marriage is about more than love. I think that's one desire that we got to contemplate, that we have to consider, even when we're dealing with relationships. This whole love thing, man. Where did this whole love component, this definition of love, where did that come from? Where did that originate? What is love? It's easy for, I hear people in the tradition, Israelites, love is to keep the commandments. Okay, yeah. But I'm talking about, with my wife. Yep. I'm going to deal with my wife according to the commandments. Yep. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to stand. When I say cheat, I mean be dishonest. That if a man chooses to, this is something that people have a problem with, but if a man chooses to take another wife within the culture of the scriptures, in the Hebraic culture, that was permitted. It was not because he was lustful. See, there are so many different examples. Like I said, geopolitically, this man had a wife already, but then he was given a wife by another king to merge their houses together, and it was just in their best interest. So now we're linked together. My house is one with your house through marriage, and what we produce will be of us together. So that wasn't an example of lustful desire to gain a wife, but I do admit and I must confess that that is the case quite often. Some brothers just have that desire in their heart. So they may adopt the Israelite tradition. They may say, well, yeah, I'm a Hebrew Israelite and it's my right to have a wife. That's the desires of my heart. But deep down in your heart, we know what it says in Jeremiah is what? Desperately wicked. Desperately wicked. And this is not a case against brothers that want to do that. I got family, I got brothers, I got elders that practice that way and have been successful for over 2 decades. So this is not just this modern phenomenon. This is not just somebody just heaping wives into themselves. No, we're talking about the functionality of what will be the apparatus for having dominion. Who did it first? Jacob. Jacob had the apparatus and he produced 13 children, 12 sons, one daughter. 12 tribes came from one man. This is a tool, it's a strategy for dominion. So now, men that may want to have dominion, they have to consider, okay, well, what are the desires of my heart? Even if I get a wife, is it for the purpose of producing sons so that they can go, I can point them in a certain direction to go out to be able to acquire resources, to do business at a higher level, bring those resources back to the house so that the storehouse can grow, so that we can begin to move and gain weight. Because power is meant to be expressed in a group, not just in an individual. So, in the words of Kanye West, no one man should have all that power. Power is expressed in its best in a group setting. So find your group, and that group for us is family. We found it in our family. Now we're sharing and we're growing, we're expanding, we're buying more land, we're gaining more territory, we're gaining weight. Not and that's the purpose of the strategy and the program that we use versus just getting, wives for the purpose of sex. Hey, and that's your prerogative. That ain't my business. It's not my business. I can't tell a man how to live his life, how to conduct his life, because it's within the text. However, I look at the model of our father. So the desire of their heart. You know what? Thank you. Thank you, Father. Let's look at the desire of the patriarch Abraham. Let's go to Genesis 17, I believe. Genesis 17. Boom, boom, boom. Where's it? 19. Um, da, da, da. Okay, I'm sorry, it's 15. And after these things, the word of Yah, Genesis 15 and verse 1. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Yahuwah Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is Eleazar of Damascus? So the father presents to Abraham, telling in a vision, saying that Abraham, I'm your shield. I'm the thing that's going to protect you. I'm the one that's going to reward you. Protection from enemies, from threats, from the snare of the fowler, from the noisome pestilence that flieth by day. I'm your shield, Abraham, and thy exceeding great reward. It is a great reward to have Yah on your side, to have the Father with you, in you, for you, moving through you, being his emissary, his representative, his ambassador in the earth. You can't do that if your desires are not his desires. And if you look at the way that he dealt with Abraham, he comes and says, I'm your reward. No, scratch that. I'm your exceeding great reward, Abraham. And then what does Abram say? Excuse me, he's not Abraham. He's just an exalted father versus the father of many nations. Abram said unto him, Yahuwah or Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing that I go childless? And the steward of my house is Eleazar of Damascus. So his desire was for children. He understood that, okay, Father, you got all this power. You're saying you're my shield and my reward. Okay, I want that reward to not be manifest, that exceeding great reward not to be manifest in money, in gold, or in silver. No, I want it to be manifest in children. That's the desire of our fathers, is seed, to have an heir. one that will continue after you. So it's as if you are never gone. You have never left because there's one after you to contend with your enemies and to maintain and further your legacy, your name, your purpose in the earth. That was the way that Abraham thought. I want that reward. So that's why I typically go back to this concept that the desires of the heart of the men that I rock with and those that tune in is they want this. They want this. And Abraham said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. I want my own heir. I want an heir that came from my loins. I want somebody that looks like me, that can be made in my image and in my likeness, that can reflect me from generation to generation. And I encourage you and I submit to you that Abraham is still here today because you looking at him, his son, not just by faith. Nah, we be Abraham's seed. That's what we be. You look at the way that that text is written in John, the book of John. That's how you know, man. Those were our people. We be Abraham's seeds. Yep, but we had gone into bondage because that's what the scripture said that would happen. That we would go into bondage for 400 years, and after that, that nation he's going to judge. That's further down in that very same chapter. And I know that some people may not subscribe to the 400-year prophecy or prophecy. That's neither here nor there for me. I really don't care because we don't deal with doctrine. But you have to look back at the world. Just one little tidbit, if I could, is and I've done videos on this 3-4 years ago about this very topic, but since 2019 the world hadn't been the same. We've been in unprecedented times. You can't say all things continue as they were since the fathers fell asleep, since the end of 2019, the 400 year after 1619. But that's neither here nor there. Abraham said he wanted a reward. He wanted an heir to come from his loins. And that's what the father granted him. That was a desire of his heart. So even in the conversation about a wife or wives or what we're trying to do, are your desires for money? And there's nothing wrong with money. I mean, it's a lot of people that that want that bread, that want that bag. I ain't mad at it. You need it. It answers a lot of problems. It answers a lot of matters. It reduces the stress in your life. So I ask men, what is your profession? Women, what do you do? Are you trying to be the best at what you're doing? Do you want to be superior, to be supreme? If you say that you are the representative of Yah, are you being superior? Are you being one of the greatest resources at your job, at your profession, where you've integrated yourself into the very fabric of this company, where they don't feel like they can move without you? That losing you would be a great loss. That's how integrated you must be. And I'm not, you could be an entrepreneur. I do several things. I do the entrepreneur thing as well. I do the entrepreneur thing as well. Shalom, shalom, Imagina. Blessings and much respect and honor be unto the house of Dr. Murray, the Honorable Thomas Murray. Love you guys sincerely. But what are you going after? We look at, even in, we're talking about the desires of your heart, going back to Psalms 37:4. That if you delight yourself, what are you taking delight in? We see that our father Abraham, or Abram at the time, he took delight in having a seed, in trying to produce an heir? What are you taking delight in? Even if you're trying to go about trying to get that thing, there's a lot of single women in the awakening. There's a lot of single women in church. It's full of women, full of women. Some of them baby mamas, some of them married, some of them not married, divorced, some of them not even marriageable. That's a whole nother conversation. But you have these different stations in these churches and in these assemblies, and then you ask them, well, what is your plan for all of these women? Clearly you don't have enough men for all of these women. What is your plan? What is your strategy? What are you trying to do with them? What is your desire? Because they have desire, they want to have a husband, they want to be able to procreate. Or are you just going to go about it from the Hellenized standpoint, and we just gonna date, we just gonna holler at each other, we just gonna go and have unsupervised movie nights at the apartment? Hey man, that ain't my business. I'm just saying that, is there a more superior way? Have you gone about trying to find those that have been productive at it, that have verifiable fruit in that area, and ask them to assist? And man, we have conversations with a lot of people that do ask for help, they ask for assistance, but because they got this burning desire to be one way too fast, to try to take that woman, to try to be with that man before they've gone through a process of healing, restoration, and conversion. And then, whereas, I've had conversations, people agree to go through a certain process and they eject, they quit way before it's time, way before anyone can co-sign that relationship. Hey, shalom, shalom, Yirmiyahu. Shalom, shalom, Yonatan from San Antone. Already know. Blessings to your house. Blessings to your house. Yirmiyahu. Love you, G. Um, they quit the process. See, the hmm, I can only say so much. There is a process that those that are thoughtful enough to first to create a process, to vet, to weed out those that have a different desire. They don't have the desire of Yah. They have the desire of their flesh, and and that's appropriate. It's nothing wrong with having fleshly desires. Nothing wrong with that. Get it. But are you taking delight in the path that the Father has demonstrated, highlighted that we should go about? There is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof is destruction. So we don't want to go about things in the wrong way. We want to, I would submit to you that you submit to a process in order to get the desires of your heart. If you have said desires, try going about it in a righteous way, in a way with those that can assist you in trying to manage that. But moving the conversation forward, delight. What do you delight in? Before you can delight yourself in Yah, you have to know what he likes, and then you begin to like what he likes. And it's a pleasure for you to do the things that he's requesting of you. It's not grievous. It's not a burden. It's not something that you just drag your feet. It's like when Abraham got the command to circumcise himself. He rose up early, went and did it. Got everybody in his house. What I do, all y'all have to do. That's because I delight in it. When he got the command to go and sacrifice his son, he rose up early. Let's go. I ain't finna wait, drag my feet 3 days. See, when you delight in the Father, you in the things that He's given you and His way, there is very little lag time from the time that the command goes out to the time that you actualize this thing, to the time that you put it in play. I know that it came from above. I don't have to rationalize. I don't have to try to figure it out. I don't have to see my way through it. Why? Because I delight to do His will. I delight myself in him. So if I know, I can confirm that he has told me, but then before you can confirm and you're sure that he's told you, you got to know the voice of Yah. Do you know his voice? And can you hear his voice in a man? Because he said, my sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. And another they will not follow. Do you know his voice? The Messiah said, you need to know his voice and you hadn't seen his shape. Woo, boy, if that wasn't a son bragging on his father, I love it. I love it. I love it. Delight yourself in him. So, what are you delighting in? Are you delighting in money? You delight in the bag? You delighting? Some people delight in just new women. Some people delight in the thrill of the chase. Some people delight in cars. I like cars, I like that new car scent. But are you going to sacrifice everything else for that delight, for that desire? Are the things that you're desiring contrary to what you said the stated goal is? And that was something that my Isha and myself, a conversation that we had on the Shabbat. That was the last video that we posted about materialism in marriage. Are your desires to try to wear all your money? Are your desires to you know to aggregate stuff to try to look wealthy versus really try to be wealthy? What are your desires? That's really what it's about. And but if you begin to delight yourself in Yah, in the pattern, in the structure, in the form. See, oftentimes we err because we don't have a programmatic way about going about the things that the Father has asked us to do. Do you have a program? Do you have a strategy? Don't just get super spiritual. Don't just get so high in the clouds that you know earthly good. He gave us a functional, applicable way, the way to do things. And when you delight in that, that's when he'll give you the desires of your heart. And it's not a problem because your desires are his desires. Oh, he wants to do what I want him to do. It's too easy to give him the good of the land, have him moving and flowing in fatness. Ah, man, where your beard and your head will never lack no oil, where your garments will always be white and right. The way that you express yourself is a reflection of him. Can he allocate these things to you because you are his representative? Can he give you the desires of your heart, or will the desires of your heart destroy you? I don't know. Only you can answer those questions. Consider your ways, Israel. Delight yourself in Yah, and he will give you the desires of your heart. I'm a living witness. I'm a testament. I'm a testimony of said thing. And I'm continuing to grow. I'm going to talk about I got to come with an update because I talked about uh let me try to get this live stream back up. Mm. Okay, we back. That was weird. I mean, it just totally went blank. Oh well, hallelujah. It's all good. Ain't gonna stop nothing. Um, I've been leaking information, but I had to get permission from the elders that I submit to and that I've bent the knee to in order to make sure that what I'm doing is proper for the group because it's not about moving as an individual, we have to be group minded in our thoughts and in the things that we do, because I don't just represent me, and I'll leave that at that. But um I'll be giving an update on that, because going back to the continent, and I've had conversations with people about it, and it's almost as if there's this projection of fear, uncertainty, lack, doubt. It's none of those things. That as a son of Yah, I have nothing to fear. I have no reason to try to run, escape from anything, versus being compelled to follow the desires of your heart that was given to you from a righteous place, and then everything else cascading in place. It's happening when it's supposed to happen, why it was supposed to happen, where it was supposed to happen. So I don't have those concerns of, those that lodge indictments that become accusatory. I'm not concerned with that, but I'm willing to have conversation, because the Father's good. He's good, and I'm looking forward to going to Johannesburg. I'm looking forward to going to Swaziland. May try to dip down to Cape Town. It depends on how tired I am, because we're gonna be running, and I'm gonna give a full update on it, and maybe I'll just reserve it for that. I'll just do this update and itinerary on these things. But that's all I got, family. Delight yourself in Yah. He will give you the desires of your heart. Sorry about the technical difficulty. We'll figure that out later. Blessings to you and your household. May you continue to grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Savior, and in the functional path. And may your family be increased. May you never lack a man to stand before the Most High. Delight yourself in Yah, and He'll give you those desires of your heart. Blessings, family. Shalom.